Good evening. We start the show with major breaking news. Hillary Clinton just at this very moment wrapping up a town hall meeting in Las Vegas, taking questions from the press and getting grilled finally about her email scandal. And apparently she's singing the same old song about it. Joining us now, though, to hash it all out, Liz Peek, columnist for thefiscaltimes.com, Kirsten Hagelin, Miss America 2008, and Stirk anchor, as well as Richard Grinnell. He's away. He's in Los Angeles, and he's a Fox News contributor. Richard, I'll start with you. Very testy. Hillary, it's obviously getting under her skin. It appears to me she continues to play the semantics game, if you will, with respect to things being classified or perhaps not classified. How do you think it went for her?
Well, she's certainly dismissive and very condescending. There is not an inch of her that is decided that this is a problem. She is throwing it into the political world and sticking to her legal defense. I think she looks really defensive. I mean, the line where she says, "No one is talking to me about this but the press," she's acting like no one cares but the press. She couldn't be more insular in her remarks. I think she also makes a big mistake by continuing to say that other secretaries of state, other officials used personal emails as well. But what she fails to say each and every time is that other officials didn't exclusively use a personal email. Hillary Clinton exclusively used personal email, which is why she's in trouble now, because you cannot be Secretary of State and do a job as Secretary of State if you don't send or receive detailed classified information. Who is she kidding?
Right. And, and we should point out, maybe one of the reasons she was testy is that it wasn't just any old member of the media, but Ed Henry from Fox News, who was questioning her on this. In fact, let's take a listen to one of the things she had to say, because, again, to your point, Richard, she was very testy.
I had not sent classified material nor received anything marked classified.
All right, Liz Peek, I want to ask you, toward the end, she said, listen, she said, I gave him every single thing that I had to give him except personal stuff, which I was not obligated to. You think she was obligated to even hand that over as well?
No, but we know for a fact that she did not hand over all her work-related emails, because Sidney Blumenthal, when he was actually asked to hand over emails, things went from Hillary to Sidney and back again. They did not end up in what she turned over to the State Department, and they were definitely having to do with her work life. So,
Sidney Blumenthal, we should point out, was persona non grata with the Obama administration. The fact of the matter is she shouldn't have had a whiff of anything that had to do with official government business.
But not only did it have to do with official government business, it had to do with Libya and all the events that basically Trey Gowdy's committee in Congress is trying to unearth and find out information about. So, look, and also she asks us to take at face value the fact that she only scrubbed clean all the personal emails. How do we know? We don't know. I mean, had she turned over her server day one before they used ammonia on it or whatever,
we have to trust her.
We
have to trust Hillary.
Right, exactly.
Here's the thing, though, Kirsten. I don't think, you mentioned Trey Gowdy. I don't think it's going to necessarily go away. Certainly in a court of public opinion, it has not gone away. It's dogging her. It's hurting her numbers. And she seemed extraordinarily testy here. Yeah. But I think she's in too deep to change her strategy.
Well, that's exactly the point that we're talking about here, is trust. And that is essential to getting the nomination and then, of course, winning the presidency. And she is showing time and time again that there really isn't a great reason to trust her, because why wouldn't you be transparent? That's one of the main things that Hillary Clinton has had to fight, is this image problem of being, that she's very isolated, that she's not forthcoming, that she's not real warm. And this just continues to go on. So I think it's going to continue to hurt her. And she really needs to be as open as possible.
Well, there's their imperialistic sort of a coronation process to this whole thing. It's mine. It's sort of, I don't have to earn it. I don't have to earn your trust. Let's listen to another bite because the entire thing was extraordinary. I want you guys to listen to another bite from there.
In fact, they've already concluded more than 1,200 of the emails I gave them have nothing to do with the work. And I said make them public. And that's the process that one goes through to make them public.
So, Richard, she was being magnanimous. Come on, there's another 1,200. Make them public. You want the people to see. I'm doing brownies. I'm doing grandma stuff. Come on.
Look, I think she also made one big mistake here when talking about when asked about whether or not she wiped the server clean. She was extremely dismissive and then went on to say, look, I turned over all of the emails, and so of course they now can look at the server. What she's not telling us, and this is key, is that she wiped the server clean. So of course now she can say you can have the server and you can look at it, but I, Hillary Clinton, already decided what you shouldn't see, and I wiped those clean. That's the problem when you have your own personal email and then Hillary Clinton personally decides to wipe clean everything else. We are left to trust Hillary Clinton in this situation. I think history proves Americans are not going to trust her.
And I think that's what Americans in general are so sick of. It seems like a typical politician move. Let me cover up and let me try to talk around this and talk around that, and just trust me, I've got your back. And I think that's the reason why you see people like Bernie Sanders on the left and Donald Trump on the right coming out and saying, I'm going to speak to you authentically.
Now, this notion about what's classified and top secret, I mean, every day these numbers are going up to tallies.
Hugely.
It feels like, okay, she's saying I did not send any classified emails on my server. The inference is that when I sent them, at the time I sent them, they weren't classified, and somehow along the way they became classified, even top secret.
Look, some of these emails had to do with drone maps, had to do with drone attacks, and they were mapped out. It was satellite imagery. Who in the world would not know that that was classified information? I think she's trying to parse this as only a Clinton would, to say that nothing was marked that way, et cetera. You know, in these 55,000 pages, there are going to be some classified emails that were marked as such. I absolutely believe that.
You think we'll be able to distinguish that at the time they were sent or received them by her personal server?
Be? I mean, yes. And I think it's completely both.
Well,
this is the only email server she was using, so how could it not be that she had classified stuff on it?
Go ahead, Richard.
You know, it's really important to understand the classified versus unclassified system. Hillary Clinton had a system in place where she did not have access to classified information. She could not have gone in and taken classified information and forwarded it on because she was using a personal server that was not part of the classified system. If she has classified information, which I'm sure she does because she was Secretary of State, it's because her staff took off the classified system and copied material onto the unclassified system, which means they are either in violation of doing that because they're not allowed to do it, or they had approval, and there should be a huge chain of command that approved for someone to take information off the classified system and put it onto the unclass system.
Well, we do know
we can figure this out. The FBI needs to get in there and figure this out very easily. They can see who originated that class information.